Exactly.
Right. But no, I've been, I got a million things in the air. I'm it's come up recently that I haven't performed live music in a while, which was sort of it started as a hobby and then it just became a thing that I did on, on top of other stuff I do in the real world, but I haven't I used to perform a solo acoustic show. And gosh, when I lived in the Lafayette area, I was doing stuff 5, 6 nights a week. Um, and then relocating from there back to my hometown here. A few years ago, it's just something I had to start all over with working your way into venues and stuff. And I didn't work it too hard. I was working at a place, sort of a entertainment and bar manager, where I made more than the bands we booked. So, it was I got to see a lot of local bands, and I would do a couple of shows, I guess, a year. It kind of devolved to that. So I haven't been doing it a lot, but during COVID, I did a lot of live streaming. I started a bunch of peers were doing it. Nobody could gig. All the bars and the restaurants and places to play were closed, and when they reopened, they did not have live music for a while. So there were a lot of floundering local musicians, I guess, floundering economically, and they took to live streaming. And I kind of waited a while, and I did it just because I had the facilities to do it, and it turned out to be really cool. I will say, profit wise, I guess, and tips and such that I garnered with the first live stream I did, it was more than like any gig that I'd done. I get competitive rates. You get what everybody else gets if you can bring in and keep and entertain a crowd. So to that, one of the things I always wanted to do, and I hadn't been able to do it yet, just for whatever reason, was once in a while I'll work in some forgotten classic metal songs into my set. I don't do it a lot because it confuses people, and you're trying to play to the crowd, so you have to play the stuff that they want to hear. I don't always get a hardcore, classic metal crowd at my gigs. I have a few times, and those times that I do, I start whipping out the old classic metal songs that I have in my repertoire, and I have a lot of obscure ones. I have used them on occasion when I've someone asked me to play an original, and I don't have any original music. I've never written a song. It's not, it's a craft and an art, and it's something I haven't tapped into yet. Um, I'm not there. I'm just trying to, entertain myself as much as I am entertaining a crowd. So, um, but I never did a just full on classic metal set list, doing it solo acoustic. Originally, when I first started playing solo acoustic music, that was a little over a decade ago. I was That was my goal in the first place. It was just to do that kind of stuff and entertain myself. It just became something that started to become profitable as long as I performed, to the crowd and the people that were there, or I was bringing in the songs that they wanted to hear. So it's I guess my repertoire is very broad spectrum of different kinds of music. Um, so I made a kind of a point that at some point I was going to live stream just me playing these old classic metal songs. So I think I'm probably going to do that later tonight. And it just popped in my head. It's like the time, the place. I got my equipment set up. Um, I did some test videos the other night to see how it would, look and sound. And I'm like, that's cool. Let's do this, because I'm not going to I don't gig a lot anymore. It's just, I've got other things going on. Got a little bored with the booking process, and the places that I do frequently play are quite far away. From when I lived, say, in the Lafayette market. I still get, gig offers to go down there and play, but that's a lot of planning. That's got to be like a mini vacation that,
Right.
I'm going down there and, having to line up 2 or 3 things in a row and just stay down there, to make it worth it. So I
Well,
don't do it a lot. It just seemed like a fun thing to do. I wanted to let some people know because, even I'm probably gonna just cast it on Facebook, and then I'll have the recorded stream to do other things with. I can cut it up and post clips on YouTube or whatever. but I thought it'd be fun. It may be horrifying. I may end up closing down my Facebook page and
So
changing
where would people go what is the
this.
Facebook page?
My personal Facebook page is just facebook.com/JSAQUI. So Jay Saki. That would be uh, how to find me, and it should be visible to those who aren't friends with me. But you can friend request me. I don't do a lot with Facebook anymore. Uh,
Sure.
it's a good platform. I use Messenger a lot, and it's a good platform for keeping in touch, I guess, with tertiary people. Uh, I use Snapchat for, I guess, more messaging too, because I know, a lot of people, a lot of younger people that just use that over texting and, other platforms of communication. So
I don't know, man. You kept me filled with great recipes for the last 2 years.
that is true. That's about
I
all
was
I did with it.
I was sad to see that end. I loved your recipes.
Nothing is over, you know, even when look at like Miley Crew or, how many times has, Wasp retired.
Yeah. Too funny, man. So, dude, when you go out and you gig for people, what do they want to hear? Is it all aha and Mister, or
it's,
is it Springsteen? I mean, what is it that people want to hear you do?
it is so random. You have to be like a human jukebox. You really do. You have to go from playing like a Garth Brooks song to a Patti LaBelle song to a Duran Duran song. And then like somebody will want to hear some Nickelback or something, some Alice in Chains. I get a lot of requests for it. You kind of gravitate towards a certain genre and feel, I guess, when you're playing out. And a lot of it's reading the crowd. Um, if they're digging it, it's cool. If they're not, they usually let you know. Um, and it can be tough, especially solo acoustic. You don't have a band to, a couple other guys on stage to kind of unify and back you up if you get a heckler. You're all on your own. But I think I've handled it all pretty well. You got to play your prerequisites. Oh, a Tennessee whiskey is like the new wagon wheel, which was the new Brown Eyed Girl when Hootie did that song. Whatever. And your Sweet Carolines. There's always going to want to be people to hear that. And your Mustang Sally and that kind of stuff. And they are crowd pleasers. You can't argue with, a dance crowd if that's what they want to hear and that gets them out of their seats. They're buying drinks, the bar's happy. You sometimes, rarely, but sometimes they'll throw you extra cash to play longer and keep the crowd going. That's always cool when that happens.
Well, you and I had dinner on a Sunday night back. I believe it was back in January or
Was
February.
it that long ago?
Yeah.
I remember snow on the ground.
Yeah, it was still cold outside, but you and I met up at one of my favorite places downtown Valpo here at the Radius, and yeah, they had some live musicians in there, and you were indicating that some of the people who kind of dominated the circuit, as it were, a guy trying to get his foot in the door might have had a difficult time. And I kind of know those people down there a little bit, and I mentioned the fact that you do the live thing and go, and they said, oh yeah, well, we don't do that anymore because we were actually losing money because people were coming in and they would dominate the tables and chairs and stuff, and then they'd never leave.
Right.
And then they wouldn't order anything. They would just sit there just to listen to the guy play. And then, the tables didn't turn over and people didn't leave and they weren't, they'd order their initial drink or their food and that's it. That's where it ended. And they'd sit there until the guy was finished doing the show. And it's like, well, were people waiting to get in or have a seat or something and couldn't do it because the people wouldn't leave.
Right. Generally, when I've done stuff, looking at the economics of it and how it works, when I've done live performances, it's usually at the end of like when their dinner crowd is finishing up and they're trying to turn that into a drinking crowd, keep them there buying drinks and hanging out. If they're going to hang out, they should at least, buy some drinks. And generally they do. They'll keep sipping beers for a couple hours if you're, if they're entertained. And that's part of, keeping that crowd. But, they got to be drinkers. That does reflect sometimes on the performer, that, they bring in people that don't spend money, that's a reputation, fair or unfair. It's a reputation that can follow you around, So
it's kind of a bullshit excuse for a restaurant, though, especially if they have TVs. Because I'm assuming the Radius has TVs.
Yeah, it's like a sports bar. Yeah.
And Lord knows, if they got a football game on, people are sitting for 3 hours without turning over anything other than a 5-pack of cheese sticks and 2 beers. It's the same thing, but they don't treat the performers the same as they do their TV market.
They have to pay the performers, though,
Yeah, but still.
TV in there. I mean, it's roughly when I had peers that guided me, I guess, when I first started doing this. They were very encouraging. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have, done it beyond just the, local open mic circuit, but to actually, get paid to do it. They, and they always ask when you're booking a new place, what do you charge? And the peers all told me, ask about $50 an hour. You do anything less than that, you're going to fuck it up for everybody else. So, start at that, that's cool. And okay. I don't want to undercharge. And then all of a sudden I'm getting booked all these places. And how's he getting? Oh, you place for $20 or whatever. And,
right.
But that's a good place to start. And I think the most I've ever been paid for doing, any gig, $700, I think, which was nice. It was, I think, 5 hours. I had to take breaks, and it was they 1099 me. It was at a bar at an amusement park, of all things. But big corporate check and all that. It was nice though. They treated me good, And as a solo acoustic performer, it's again, you don't have. There's a lot of advantages. You're very nimble. It doesn't take forever to set up. You don't need a big sound check. I can carry everything in from the trunk of my car in like one trip. Maybe 2.
Well, you've performed here in the studio for us a few times.
I know.
That was way back when you were, kind of starting off.
I don't ever want to hear those ever.
Oh, I don't know. We enjoyed it. I thought it was torturous.
Fun. I feel like I've evolved. Definitely, there's an evolution, and I'd been, again, when I first started doing it, it was really just for fun, just to entertain myself, and the ridiculousness of it almost. But, just having kept at it, maybe there's something here. You get a lot of encouragement. Money doesn't lie. You start getting, compensated for your entertainment value and, economic advantage to whoever it is that's investing in you. So I guess, in the long run of it, you just, get better at it, you just keep doing it. And it's like working out, I guess, or
masturbating.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever got better at that.
You just get quicker at masturbating. Come on, you don't get better, you just get faster.
Get it over with. So
that's right. Right. You minimize the shame by getting quicker.
Yeah, that was it's like an itch that you
Yeah.
never. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. I don't do it a lot. It's been, I'm not that aggressive with booking. I've had some ideas of doing things that would be a multi-person project, and again, I'm still just focusing on local entertainment, being a cover band or cover artist or whatever. I don't have an original thought in my head, and, original artists, unfortunately, especially around here in this kind of market, don't make any money. You don't get paid. Nobody wants to hear it. They want to hear their Brown Eyed Girl and, Mustang Sally and whatever, and then all the random stuff that people yell out, play Xanadu by Olivia Newton-John. Why? Where did that come from? But, I may have, it may not be performed well, but somewhere in my memory archives, I can probably, turn out some pretty weird stuff just because I kind of know it, or maybe I learned how to play it on guitar once and it's still in there, like a Rush song or something. I pulled out a couple of those that, you know, nobody else might get it, but that one person who asked for it really wanted to hear it. They're just happy as shit. You can tell. They're happy as shit.
And then you go to my tip jar is right over here.
Right. That's how it translates. They're the ones putting like the 50 in your tip jar and stuff. And I'm like, well, cool. I'm glad I knew that Rush song, you know, whatever it was.
Yeah, but then you get the other asshole sitting in the corner. It's like, that was all right, but it needs the 3-part harmony. Otherwise, it doesn't really sound like Rush. It's like, fuck off.
Part of they got to understand you're one guy by yourself. And I do some live sampling, so I'm using a loop station. Sometimes I'll lay some beats down with it, by pumping on the guitar or whatever, I try to keep it organic. I'll use a click sometimes to build on top of in a live environment where it's pretty fast paced. There's a big crowd, maybe difficult to concentrate because they're yelling, play some Mustang Sally, whatever.
Well, you're today's Howard Jones.
Like what, I guess.
Or Ron Keel. Ron Keel does that.
Yeah, he does a lot of that.
Does he?
Yeah. Well, we had Ron Keel at my pinball place. He came out and played, and he had that, I don't know what that device is, but whatever it was, where he could like lay in a couple of beats and then it would loop, and then he would lay in like a backing vocal, and then he would hit that, and then he would just push a button or something when it came down to the right to rock, and it would sound like 15 people singing it and stuff.
That's what I do. Maybe not to Ron Keel's level. It's pretty funny. One of the songs that was on my must do list, and I did a demo the other night. Was doing some test video just to see how it would look and sound. Was a Keel song. I did that song once before it had to be 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. It was a really random hole in the wall bar, and somebody I was playing all these goofy like Quiet Riot, and I think I threw in a Crocus song or something, just really random stuff that you would have had to really have been into that music at some point in your life if it wasn't during the time of its heyday, maybe afterwards. But I discovered all this and really knew your Lizzie Bordens and your Black and Blues and the King Cobras in there. So there is a Keel song because I did it that night and somebody posted about it on Facebook, and I said something. I think I tagged Ron Keel in it, and he's like, "Oh, there should be video of that." So he wanted to know which Keel song I did. So I'm gonna have to throw that into the mix with it. That one is a definite, will make an appearance. So that kind of crap. I'm gonna be playing Keel and King Cobra and maybe some Killer Dwarfs, whatever else, and then I'll have it on video. I've got a good video demo, some things I can cut it up, or individual things, or I just retire from doing it, and that's my swan song and gift to all of music kind,
Well, if you do a live stream, will you do requests if like somebody throws something in your tip jar? If you do like a live stream, like on a YouTube or something, or throw $5 your way or something like that.
Yeah,
If you'll is your live stream going to be an interactive thing where people can actually request a song, or
I'll try to monitor it. That's the difficult part, playing and monitoring the live stream. So I'll have to take little breaks where I check the messages and go from there.
Do the super chat.
The super chat?
Yeah,
do the super chats on YouTube. If they give $5, they get a 3-minute song. If they do $10, they get a 5-minute song or whatever.
I thought about doing just playing one song, and it'd be the one request that every performer, band, whatever that works a bar circuit or deals with that kind of element that's going to yell out the most random stuff. And then somebody always thinks they're funny yelling out Freebird. And I thought, I could live stream. It could end up being the world's longest recorded version of Freebird, and I will play it for 48 hours straight. I'll just stay up and do it, and people can tip me to stop playing it.
Or they could just click off.
Yeah.
They could be cheapskates and just click off.
This doesn't need to happen.
Right.
You just tell them I have to make $20 to go another 5 minutes, and just keep on going and keep on doing that solo until it stops. And next thing you know, you got $800 in the kitty. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, that would be nice. not expecting that. And it's, it's for the love of doing it more than it is gaining income or whatever. But, online donations and tips are appreciated. Do that, or I'm going to have to start, an OnlyFans site.
Where you're going to play in your underwear or something?
Some weird like that. And only fan, not fans plural. There'll be just one fan.
Only fan.
Probably my mom.
Nice.
My mom will support me with that.
Very cool. Well, dude, obviously, man, for most people know you were spawned from the world of Metal Sludge, and now there's 8 zillion sites out there trying to do what you guys did all those years ago. What do you think when you see all these sites now that are trying to be edgy and, all clickbaity and stuff like that? Does it come off as like a tribute to what you guys did, or do you look at it and go, these guys are fucking pathetic?
I don't even look at anything like that. I don't know anything that I've seen. You know what? I get all my info mostly from you guys.
Oh, nice.
And via YouTube, because I seem to stream a lot of stuff and just make playlists. I've got, Chromecast. I've got a big screen projector thing in my living room. It's, it's pretty cool to watch stuff. But even as I just, move about my day when I'm home, I'll have you guys on just in the background. I'll be listening to it. Sometimes I find myself just staring at the floor, just laughing my ass off at some stuff.
Yeah, we're funny guys, all right.
Yeah, we're hilarious.
And very, very poignant, I will never get married again without a prenuptial after stories.
Well, I have a feeling that we didn't have to tell you that one.
Oh, I figured it out on my own, but you could have told me.
Hey, I didn't learn either. Who are we kidding? I was 25 years in a shit marriage, dude. So
all your info was relatable, but if I heard it maybe 3-4 years ago, it would have been even better.
You needed to hear that to know better?
No, sometimes you think you don't think with your eyes, you think with your
dick. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Well, anyway, so aside from that, I mean, obviously you've been kicking around. I mean, I've known you for close to 20 years, or maybe even a little longer than 20 years, actually, because I knew you before I knew you. I knew you before I actually met you or knew who you were.
But still in Cleveland.
Yeah, absolutely. I did the Metal Sludge Song of the Week on the Classic Metal Show when I was still on FM radio, and Metal Sludge was obviously very new to the scene as well, and everybody wanted to jump on board. And I thought, well, I got a radio show. I could use a little promotion for that, and so let's do a little barter here. I'll do the Metal Sludge Song of the Week. You guys can pick it, and I'll play it and promote the site, and you guys would promote me, and that's how it all worked out.
That's how I know of you. I might not even know of you if it weren't for Metal Sludge. And vice versa.
Right.
Imagine that.
Yeah. So when they changed the Metal Sludge P.O. box to a Gary, Indiana address, I go, okay, who's in this area?
I know nothing. I don't know anything.
Yep.
About that. It was so long ago. I'm still recovering from that absinthe binge that I did in the Millennium New Year. And I just can't, some details are fuzzy about anything that happened before then. And that was, that was after it. Yeah, it's not been right since. I remember when that happened. That was like, 02, 03, something like that. Like, who's in Gary? That's creepy. It moved around, and it was in like St. Paul, Minnesota before that, I think. It might have been somewhere just before that. They had a couple of different, PO boxes where, I assume the way everything worked hypothetically that, there'd be a PO box at one place and somebody would get it and repackage it and send it to another PO box. And then that PO box would be, sometimes they send it to one.
It was a forwarding address.
Right.
Yeah.
They actually had somebody go through it because there was a lot of crap sent to, you only have so many demos from some unsigned band that they keep sending the same thing, wanting to be the featured in the Rock on the Pine section or whatever. Pick us.
Right.
I think if you pester them enough, that hey, fine. Doesn't work that way. And when that trying to book gigs, you can't pester somebody too much and expect to ever play in their venue. Sometimes they'll book you just to get you to stop bothering them. But
well, when we had you in here a couple years ago, you had stopped in and you were basically telling a lot of metal sludge stories, and I know you've had your ins and outs with Stevie Rochelle, and he had heard the segment that you did when you here, and he was very complimentary of you and the the stories that you told and your involvement and so on and so forth. And he was pretty pleased with your appearance here and all the memories that you shared with us during your time working with Metal Sludge. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, it really defined a time, a time and space, and anybody who was a fan of that site and the controversy that it stirred up, and both Chris and I were pretty involved with that,
Yeah.
as the CC DeVille debacle that I was personally involved with consumed a couple of weeks worth of Metal Sludge stuff. So that was a lot of fun.
I mean, the stories that Metal Sludge reported on just kind of wrote themselves. They really didn't have to do a lot except, report on it and just highlight it. Some of the ridiculousness that went on. I get the whole premise of it. It was the late, 90s. So let's say 98, I guess. And 98 going into 99 and the bands that had their heyday about a decade before. So all your, MTV, headbangers, ball bands, and Z-rock bands or whatever we want to call them. They're still out there. They're still trying. They're on the circuit. They're still playing music. People come out to their shows, but they've scaled down, from arenas to sheds to, theaters to
casinos.
Yeah, and then even down from there, now they're playing in bars. They're playing in the same kind of places I'm booking gigs, and they're playing, they're playing to their fans. Some of them still sound good and do a good job, but the pomposity, I guess, and the rock star, mental trappings, I guess. Some performers, some bands, they didn't let that go, so they're still acting with an air about them, like it's
Sure.
1988, and that's what Metal Sludge, they could highlight without trying, or just the some of the pomposity and the ridiculousness of the way the quote unquote stars were acting when they're they're not keeping it real. We know they're traveling around in a van instead of a tour bus.
Sure.
They're playing. Their green room is the back of the kitchen at the venue that they're playing at, where the staff hangs out.
Yeah, the problem that they have now is that there's cameras everywhere. I think that's one of the unique things about Metal Sludge was it happened just before the technology made it impossible to happen. You could never do something like that now because every dickhead with a phone captures every. I mean, I'm sure you remember the big thing with Janie cooking, and one photo of Janie cooking was gigantic news. That he's fallen, he's now a chef at a bar or whatever, And now you could never have that now, because if anybody shows up at their gig or something, 90% of these guys are out, working DoorDash or whatever. If they show up at your house delivering a pizza, there's somebody with a phone to take a picture of it, and it's not even news anymore.
Hey, aren't you Eric Turner from Warrant?
Yeah, exactly.
Deliver for Papa John's. That's great. Hold on, we got to get the camera. Honey, get the kids.
Yeah.
Wake them up. Eric Turner's delivering our pizza.
He could sing the song, "Here's your pizza pie, full of pepperoni. What a sweet old pie."
while he's like, thinking about inhaling the exhaust from his still running car. That's how this is where it's come to.
Nah. Well, the ironic thing though, dude, is those bands are still making a shit ton of money.
They are. The casino circuit, I know they pay bank.
And they pay big.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, it's always amazing to me when I hear that, I don't know, band X, and I'm not even talking about the majors. I'm talking about the second tier bands, the Tricksters or whatever, going out and making like 10 G's or something to play a gig. And I'm like, $10,000 for Trickster? I wouldn't have paid that when Give It To Me Good or whatever was a hit.
Definitely not. What about those like Monsters of Rock cruises? I mean, there's a ton of those bands, and it seems like that's the only time they even play. They do it like once a year on this cruise, which doesn't sound like a bad gig. I mean, I assume that that's not their main income stream anymore. I mean, you never know, but I mean, people do other things. There's definitely a ceiling, I guess, as a player in a C-list hair metal band that's still playing the retro circuit.
Well, your boys from Killer Dwarfs are playing out in St. Charles tonight.
They are opening for Graham Bonnet.
Yeah, they're playing in St. Charles tonight with the Graham Bonnet band.
I did see that.
Yeah.
Graham Bonnet. How old is Graham Bonnet?
108.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got to be.
And he looks it.
He's pushing the Gordon Lightfoot button there. He's way old.
He was old when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Graham Bonnet was old in the 70s.
Right. Great singer. Sounds good.
Sure.
Looks like Dick Van Dyke, but
Dick Van Dyke.
Nice
reference. Who's still kicking it? He's like 96, and he's still doing YouTube videos and stuff, reading letters. This is a letter Bernie wrote to me in 1951. I got to read it to you. I just found it.
So, are you still in contact with Russ Dorff?
I am with the Dwarfs. I don't, as much. We've all got real life. They've got their thing. If they're coming to town, we'll talk. But like even St. Charles is a bit of a haul.
Yeah, it's 100 miles from here.
If I could have made it happen, I would have. But
But you had a gig here.
I do. I had to be here. Move heaven and earth to be here on the classic metal show.
Right. We trumped the Killer Dwarfs.
I mean, hopefully they play a headlining gig some point that's not horribly far with some notice that I can plan for, and go out and see them. I saw them in Bolingbrook, and I want to say it was after my daughter was born. So I want to say it might have been, had to be after 2000. 2016 maybe.
Okay.
They played in Bolingbrook, and I went to see them. That maybe the last show that I went to was either that or Glenn Hughes in Chicago. I saw those are the last two live shows I've been doing. That was way before COVID. It's just something that it's not even economically or time wise or family responsibilities or anything. It's just a lot of it's planning. It's really a commitment to travel anymore. It used to be like, get in the car and go to Palatine with Wendell. Yeah, we're gonna go see Jamie St. James Front Warrant. I'm like, I can't miss that.
Yeah, well, we used to run around a bit and go to shows and hang out, and we, especially if Chip Enough was around. I mean, we're good. We're good buddies with Chip.
Chip was definitely a good hookup. Always got to go to pretty much any Enough's Enough show with very little harassment by security.
Well, Chris recently interviewed a local boy, Troy Patrick Farrell.
I did.
Troy Griffith. I saw his brother a couple of weeks ago. Brother Sean Michael Farrell. They all have a middle name. Some Irish.
They're all three named like serial killers.
Another brother too. I think he's a chef.
Yeah, Troy was good. He was fun. He did try to bust my balls on White Lion because I said I was a White Lion fan, and he immediately was like, "Well, why aren't you still?" I was like, "Easy, dude. I don't know. Maybe because they're not a band anymore. I don't know."
Mike Tramp's White Lion.
Yeah, but I don't think he even calls it that anymore. I think he's just now White Mike Tramp. I don't think he calls it. I think he does Mike Tramp doing the songs of White Lion now. He finds a way to mix it in, but I don't think he calls it White Lion anymore.
I had a gig offer in Lafayette, believe it or not, to open for Mike Tramp. They wanted me to do it. It would have been super cool. And then Mike, like, I don't know, whatever negotiations they were in, they fell through. And he was driving around in a van doing, bar gigs, basically solo acoustic, and they were like, yeah, I'll have you open for Mike. And I'm like, well, that would be cool. You know, that's kind of genre filling, and I don't think they thought they could, whatever he wanted, to do it. Even a fill-in date. It was a fill-in date, in between like 2 or 3 other gigs, that he's got in the area with a few days off that, he just needs to fill it in. So, sometimes you'll take what you can get then, I guess.
But you and I went to see Mike Tramp together just up the street here at Ben Willie's.
See, if it's in town, I'm more likely to go to the show.
I mean, he literally played a place that I could see the roof from out my window here.
Oh, wow.
That's how close he was up the street here. That was, boy, what was that, like 2010 or something? Maybe even before then.
It had to be before.
It's like 2007.
I don't know. I think I might have still been sending captures in the metal sludge then when that happened. Late 05 or something.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while. It's been a while.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, I don't know. There's, and the Little Hobart Art Theater, that's one town over, has had some pretty good, national acts that I would go dig seeing. I mean, they've had Buck Cherry play there not long ago, and they had Yngwie Malmsteen was there last winter sometime. And that was not very far. That was a 10-15 minute drive from this town over. And I either worked or had other obligations or whatever, but it was like, yeah, maybe I'll go see Yngwie. That would have to be one of those things where I'm unexpectedly like kid free for the night. I got nothing going on. I'm off work. I'm, just no other plans. I'm like, hey, maybe I'll go see Yngwie. I'd have to be really to do that. There's, I can always find something to clean or organize or, repackage, or I'll go through my bank statements or file receipts or anything I can do. And then if all that's done, maybe I'll go see Yngwie. Motivation is hard,
Well, I spend all my evenings kid free.
Yeah, it's different. I have my child part time, so I do have time out. I usually plan to I work in the evenings, so I can work when I don't have her. But sometimes I got to be flexible with that. Sometimes I have her unplanned, and sometimes I don't have her, which is something I didn't plan.
Kids aren't the problem, Neely. Kids are not the problem. It's the makers of the kids that are the problem.
Right.
Kids are all right. They're just doing whatever. I mean, I assume it's all ages. I might have my kid, hey, what do you want to do tonight? Let's go see Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah.
What?
Is he a YouTuber?
She'd put on, earphones or can I bring my phone? She's sitting there on her phone during it, with earphones. I don't know. I'd take her to see Weird Al. I think she could handle that.
Yeah.
He's not doing too much right now, as far as I understand. He's just not, not touring very much. He'll do some one-offs, but he did some a couple of years ago. I took my sons to see Weird Al when they were teenagers, younger teenagers, preteens, I guess. And it was a surprise to them. They didn't even know we were going, and I had just happened to get front row seats at this place, and it was a Star Plaza Theater in Maryville. I just got the tickets last minute, got these great seats, took these kids, after school, like, get in the car. Where are we going? And I'm like, I tell them where we were going. I drove them in Maryville, and we pulled up, and they're like, we gonna go see Weird Al? Yeah, I guess.
Nice.
You'll see, you know. And he put a great show on. He had the fat suit on. He came and sat on one of my kids' laps and gave him a little fat lap dance thing. And I got to be the cool dad for like a week or whatever,
Nice.
It was cool. But, I would take a kid to go see that. I don't know about like Graham Bonnet and Killer Dwarfs, that's like torture. What'd I do wrong? She might like the Dwarfs, but, I don't know. She's in her TikTok music and shit, so I don't know.
Yeah, so she only wants to hear 15 seconds of any song instead of an actual whole song.
Much. She's good at swiping. Swipe.
Yep.
YouTube Shorts. If it's not a short, she's not going to watch it.
That's right.
I don't know if you guys are doing YouTube Shorts or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's a necessary evil. I mean, Chris is a busy fellow when it comes to doing all the production stuff and getting CMS shorts out there as well as the segments and
So we do it all. We're doing shorts. We're doing Instagram. We're doing TikTok. We're doing full length. We're doing highlights on Rumble and BitChute and Odyssey and
some of that stuff. I don't even know what it is. I'm getting old.
Well, I have to stay up on it because YouTube is constantly on our ass like the Gestapo on a Jewish guy. So we have to stay up on it just so that when we get shut down by YouTube, we're ready. So
has that happened?
Oh yeah.
You down
all the time?
We have 2 strikes as we talk. We have 2 strikes on our channel right now. We've had over 60 videos taken down by YouTube. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Language and
well the thing is that they're doing revisionist language. They're taking stuff down of something we may have said a decade ago that doesn't fly with today's environment.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, most of the stuff that we get taken down for is between 6 and 10 years old. But they take it down and they give us a strike for it. Like we can go back and edit 6,000 videos.
It's like going back to like a Three Stooges, piece from the 1930s and sanctioning them because of something that was really racy, but like a double meaning or something. And Groucho Marx little sneaky digs he got in there at the censors.
Yeah, it's like suing the producer. It's like suing the producers of the Little Rascals for hiring practices today.
Right.
It's like, Jesus Christ, come on, give us a break.
That's too bad.
It happens. That's why we got all the. That's why I'm familiar with all the stuff that you've never heard of before, BitChute and Odyssey and all that stuff, because we gotta have backups because YouTube blows.
I mean, there's always something that seems like it's coming out, and I can't even remember what they are. This is the new. Everyone from Facebook is moving to use this or whatever, and then nobody done that. And I don't know why I wasted the space on my my phone's drive to be put that on there, because I do a lot of videos now and not just the music thing I'm doing, but stuff with my kid and whatever. I try to archive our memories of our good little times together, and
sure.
But that takes up a lot of space. I don't have a massive hard drive on my cheap ghetto phone, so so I put it in the cloud, but that takes some planning, and I don't want to put all these different apps on there and then not use it. Like, still, I've never spent enough time on Twitter to warrant even having it anymore. I mean, I have an account. I've had it forever, I don't know how long, 15 years maybe? Been a minute.
Well, Neely could teach you how to get off of social media because he's not on any of it.
Nope. Not having it.
I was making some videos and sharing them on Snapchat, but they were more like art pieces, I guess. Just weird stuff with music, it didn't really fit with the Snapchat thing. And people said you should put those on TikTok, but now I have a TikTok, but I haven't really done anything with it. It's kind of when I have time to fool with it.
Right.
My normal days, a mile a minute of, what's happening, chaos and blindsided and, things blowing up and phone calls, things in the mail, people banging on the door. Who is that? hard to get things done.
Well, James, you came into the studio tonight, and I know you wanted to plug your live stream gigs and so on and so forth. And I know that you've been doing it a long time, and you kind of debuted here on the show. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to let the fans know where they can check you out, because I've witnessed your live performances, and it's pretty enjoyable.
Well, I hope I got better. I think I did. I was looking at some of my test videos that I did, and I am like, it's kind of come a long way. It was, vocally especially, I think has grown a lot even in the past couple of years. And musicianship, it just happened. I did it to be silly, and then it turned into a thing that surprised me, that it could be another, income stream. I mean, not rely exclusively on that, but certainly a fun way to do it. It is fun. It's fun to interact with people and feed off the crowd's energy. If they're digging what I'm doing, and you're kind of commanding an audience, that's a nice ego boost, I guess. It's a self-esteem building.
Sure.
In a good way. I did this. People are happy. They're buying shots. They're putting 50s in my tip jar. I didn't even have to play, and Brown Eye Girl. Did not have to play it the whole night. Didn't have to play Simple Man. Thank Christ. One of those things. So, but yeah, I check it out. I just wanted to plug the I wanted to do like a collection of these like metal songs that me and maybe few people in your listening audience would know, but nobody else I know except for that one guy in Oxford, Indiana, named Ron Childers Jr. He knew the Black and Blue and the Keel and the Saxon song that I threw into just this classic metal set that I just played one afternoon just because I could. It was that point I could do whatever I wanted. Nobody was gonna throw empty beer bottles at me or tell me I suck and tar and feathered me and run me out of the town.
Is this one of James's live gigs? Cool.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh no! God. I don't even know what that is.
I got it from the site.
Print song. And even that is
Say that again?
Even that's a couple years old.
Yeah, this is like 2 years old.
I feel like I've progressed since then.
Sounds pretty good to me. Play a little more. Give people a taste.
It's Prince.
Yeah, give people a taste.
Nothing to do with classic metal. There's nothing about Prince. He's kind of
you listen to this show enough. Half the time we're talking about yacht rock and shit. So,
well, now you're talking.
So here we'll play a little.
Next stream I do will be just a complete collection of yacht rock.
Perfect.
Got my Ambrosia.
Here's a little more James right here. There you go. Little taste.
I have definitely grown since then, but a lot of it's confidence, and some of it just might be I give a fuck, and some of it's I guess like especially vocally. I was told by some pro singers, like even Russ Dwarf, had some things to say about it when I was first starting out. And he's like, it's like it's a muscle. That's like working out any other, muscle group that you have, and it takes time, and you got to build up scar tissue and let it heal. Same as if you're like, working on your biceps or whatever. So,
right on.
He said it takes years and years and years, and you got to do it every day. I've tried to keep up with it even while not gigging, in different ways. So,
hell, even Vince Neil has some words for you.
Oh, dear.
How is that though? Is it rough as you get older to keep, because of the type of music you guys do? Obviously, to have a younger voice would be a lot better. That you get a little older, some people kind of lose the pipes. It's harder to hit those high notes.
Not really, because like even when I wasn't with doing the Motley stuff, I would be touring on my own, and so it's just like working out. It's a muscle. It just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and my voice right now is probably the best it's been in many years. So you just got to keep doing it. You just you stop for a few years, and then you're going to be rusty just like anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
So even Vince Neil knows the secrets.
He concurs.
He doesn't practice at all, but he concurs.
And sometimes like taking care of yourself. Like I have a fairly healthy lifestyle. I don't, I'm not a big drinker. I'll smoke a cigarette once in a while, but I'm like a social smoker. I'm not, somebody who chain smokes or puts that harshness in my body, and I like my craft beers. I will drink a Jameson shot sometimes before I perform vocally, because that's another thing that like many singers have told me, even if you're not a whiskey drinker, drink a shot of whiskey before you go on. It's like something about it. Russ Dwarf always swore by Jack Daniels, even though when he wasn't drinking, he still did that. It's not for the alcohol. It's the, it's like lubricating effects, I guess.
It wakes the voice up.
I don't know. I stuck with Jameson. That's my thing, and it's noticeable. Like, I guess you break through quicker, it takes a while to warm up to your optimum, performance range, and I think it just like fast tracks getting you there. I don't know. That's something. It's been a habit. I can sing without doing it first, but I, kind of like it. Kind of
who doesn't?
My little shot, and that's all I'll do. Maybe I'll do another one, but I don't keep, pounding them. You get fuzzy, and then you get sloppy, and then you don't look or sound good to your audience. So
yeah, Chris learned that lesson a few years ago.
I don't know what you're talking about because I don't remember.
I don't, I don't want to have one of the. I don't want to be that guy, because that follows you around too. He's a drunk,
What?
Hammered up there, and he puts on a shitty show, and then he offends everybody, and he doesn't tip, whatever.
I've never heard any of those things about me.
I don't. The catastrophic, looping that goes through my head about worst case scenarios, and how much worse can it be? It's around pretty catastrophic.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, James. Well, we thought we'd let you come on in, hang with us. You're welcome to hang the rest of the show if you'd like. But we wanted
I got a live stream to do. It's going to take me about an hour to prepare myself mentally for it.
All right. But we've got your Facebook live stream address up on the screen right now.
Oh, that's cool.
So
hopefully I'll pull something off that'll be fun. Like I did run through some songs, and there's a Keel song, there's a King Cobra song, and a couple of Killer Dwarf songs I've never done. Terrified to do them in front of people, but I'm like, man, fuck.
All right, James, I'm gonna since we gave you an hour's worth of time, Neely's gonna give you a shirt on the way out, which you have to wear on the live stream. A CMS shirt. How's that?
Oh, do you have size small?
I do.
Good. It's hard to find men's size smalls anywhere. I have to go to the youth department. I shrunk from having some bad things happen and having to do a lot of walking over the last couple of years intermittently. So I seem to have gone down, a shirt size. It's weird.
I found it. I gained it. Don't worry.
Thank you. I was wondering where that went. The universe balances everything else.
It does. It does. It's the yin and yang.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on. I hope you check it out. I hope it's worthy.
And if you enjoyed James's performance on his live stream, throw a couple of pennies in the ragu jar, as Warren said.
32 of them exactly.
32 pennies. That would be my goal. I do have some untold Jeannie Lane stories. I'm gonna have to come back someday and share some of those. I think it's time. It's not too soon anymore, is it?
No, it's been 15 years or whatever, hasn't it?
It's been a while.
Yeah, they're good.
Cool.
We'll come back and share them soon.
All right, James. Well, go check out James over at his live stream. We got the address up there on the CMS Chiron, as it were, and it says facebook.com/JASAQUI.
That's it. My login.
And are you just doing it on Facebook, or are you doing it on like YouTube or something?
No, I don't think I could cast on YouTube or go live.
Sure,
on YouTube.
you can.
Yeah, you can.
Do I have enough followers?
Doesn't matter. I think you need 10 now or something, some little number.
I don't even know if I have that.
You just go. All you have to do, Neely, give him my email address, and I'll email you on how to do it. It's real easy.
Can I do both?
Yeah.
Way to split it so it's going to like YouTube and Facebook?
StreamYard.
That's what I'm looking for.
That's what you need. Then you could do. We're on 6 platforms right now streaming. We're streaming to YouTube, Twitter, Odyssey, DLive, CMS Network, and Rumble, all at the same time.
Okay. Well, I'll see what I can do.
We got the shit, James. We got the shit.
It'll minimally be Facebook because I've done that before. Easy, but,
you're limiting yourself.
But if I can do it on YouTube too, that would be okay.
Yeah. All right, James. Well, since you've been a good guest, I'll let you pick a departing song and take us out of the segment. So, do you have something you'd like to hear?
Any song?
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
Ambrosia.
Oh no. Shadow Rider by King Cobra.
All right.
Why not?
Why not?
Right. I think Marcy Free is an Indiana resident as well, so it's sort of like a local song.
That's the song on one of my bumpers for me, talking about riding in my car with a naked chick in the past.
That only happened to me once, and I could get her to wake up. I could figure out. I didn't know where she was or where her car was parked or where she lived, and I just drove her around until she came out of it because there's no waking her up.
Nice.
All right, James. Glad you stopped by. The door is always open, and go check out his live stream and throw a little support his way.
No, I appreciate the opportunity to plug a last minute idea that it ensures I might not puss out.
All right.
Nice.
Perfect. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up here and play King Cobra from their Ready to Strike release with Shadow Rider. So, James, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
All right, man.
See you, Chris.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
All right. Well, here it is. It's King Cobra exclusively here
on your classic metal show.